Hi and welcome to my channel. In this video I'll show you how to easily flush your brake fluid. There are several methods to do this, of course. The one I'm showing is probably the easiest one. You will need one assistant and hardly any tools besides a couple of wrenches, because with some calipers usually the bleeder valve in the back is one size versus the ones in the front, so you may need a 10mm wrench, maybe 11, maybe 9, but it's good to have the smaller wrench sizes depending on your car. So you will need an assistant to do this job with, and the one I'm showing here is done on a Mazda 3 2018 model, but it applies to any car. If you can jack up all four wheels, might make it easier, but you don't have to, and you don't even need to have a jack or a jack stance besides the one that comes with the car. Usually cars do come with jacks, so you can use the factory jack for your car, and you want to jack up the wheel that is farthest away from the main tank, from the master cylinder. So you want to start with that. Usually if the master cylinder is on the in front of the on the driver's side, then you want to start with the rear passenger and move to rear driver, and then front passenger. Front passenger and then front driver. You want to suction off whatever fluid is in the tank, the old fluid. You can use a turkey baster. I'm using here, I have a compressor, so I'm suctioning it off with there's a bleeder kit that Harbor Freight sells in the US for about $31 as of September of 2022, which is extremely useful for this job. Specifically, it comes with two bottles. One of them, if you have a compressor, to use that, but in this case I'm not using the other bottle that connects to the compressor. I'm only using this bottle that autofills the brake reservoir, as you will see in a second. So I'm using, for this Mazda 3, I'm using .3 brake fluid, and so you pour it into this bottle and close the top. It has that it comes with 4 or 5 adapters, so you choose the adapter that fits the mouth of the brake reservoir. And so right now it's in closed position, and you just open it, and as you open it, it autofills the reservoir such that the nozzle stays submerged in the brake fluid that's in the tank. And as soon as the brake level goes down, more brake fluid will come out of the bottle into the tank. So this way you don't have to worry about keeping the fluid replenished. So then you will have an assistant that will just press the brake pedal and release it based on your instructions. And so as I said before, so you start with the caliper that's farthest away from the master cylinder, and in this case, in the case of this Mazda 3, it would be the rear passenger caliper, so that's where I'm starting. And so you before you open the valve, the bleeder valve, you instruct and you have to be within, you may have to have them open the window, all the windows, so you can hear each other. And so you shout press or whatever you want to shout, and you want to hear confirmation that it is pressed. And when you hear that, you open the bleeder valve, and within just a couple of seconds you close it, and then you instruct the assistant to release the pedal. And so you keep repeating this for each of the calipers in sequence. And then at the very end, and I'll show that too, you will, in order to make sure that there are no leaks, that all the bleeder valves are tightened. Usually there are torque values, so you would have to follow that. But you can also, if you don't have a torque wrench, you can just hand tighten it. Use your weaker hand to just hand tighten it. Don't tighten it too much, because otherwise you could break it. And so at the end, keep pressing on the pedal a few times, and then keep your foot pressed against it. If it moves, if the pedal moves, then that means there's a leak someplace. And but if it doesn't move, it doesn't go down, then that means that the entire system is closed. And then you just lower the car and test drive. You can also check each valve, dry it, and then check for any brake fluid around the bleeder valve. So I'm including all of the four wheels here in case you're interested to see all of it. But I have timers in the front. You can directly go to each of the calipers if you want to see couple minutes of each. But I hope you find this video of use. So really you don't need any tools other than a couple of wrenches, small wrenches. You will need, of course, the brake fluid according to the manufacturer's specs. Usually you can find that in the owner's manual, or search Google online for the type of brake fluid, .3, .4, whichever it is for your type of car. And you need an assistant. You will need a bottle to collect the fluid from each caliper. You'll also need a rubber hose that fits the nipple, the bleeder valve. And that's pretty much it. It's best to replace the brake fluid every 2 years. If you can do it a little more frequently, that's better. If you cannot, then minimally every 2 years, regardless of number of miles that you drive. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Press.
Pressed.
Release.
Released.
Press.
Pressed.
Release.
Released.
Press.
pressed,
release,
released,
press,
pressed,
release,
release,
press,
press,
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 release,
release,
press,
pressed,
release,
released,
press,
pressed,
release,
release,
press, release,
released,
press,
pressed,
Release.
released,
Press.
pressed,
Release.
release,
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 Press.
pressed,
Press.
pressed,
Release.
release,
Press.
press,
Release.
release,
Press.
press,
Release.
Release.
Press.
Press.
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 Release.
Release.